Hey YouTube, it's Aqua, and I don't know, but I've been looking at the way iPhone Apple has been going lately, and we got this conversation. I got real life people mad at me because I just be talking that stuff about Droid every day, right? Android, and I just want to have a conversation on the way Apple iPhone is going, right? So let's look at the Apple's like roadmap here, right? So we just got news that Siri is being replaced by Gemini. That is wild, and it's not like Siri's name is going away, but a lot of the implementation is going to be Gemini, which it's going to be Google Gemini. Let's just be real. Apple had a terrible time trying to get into the AI game, and that is 2025 right now. If you are not an AI, you are done. You know what I'm saying? Like good or bad or not. You see Samsung, you see Google, you see Huawei, you see Xiaomi, you've seen all these companies, even LG and Motorola is pulling out AI. Everyone's pulling AI out of their butt. Apple did it too, Apple Intelligence, but what is that doing? Nathan. So, they have to get with the program. Google bought in and now Apple bought out because if you can't win, what is it? You can't join them, you can't beat them, join them type of thing, kind of like how Microsoft does with a lot of things. But we love Microsoft, we love Xbox. But yeah, Apple is no, it's not. They're not they're not. How do I say it? Yeah, I don't know, but yes, Apple is now going to Gemini. So you know me, I just did a video: Gemini versus Copilot versus Gemini, Copilot, and what is the other one? ChatGPT. And I said ChatGPT was best, then Copilot, a strong Copilot. Gemini is definitely last. Gemini, Google Gemini just dropped Model 3. Okay, let me just pull that up really quick. Model 3 Gemini. Okay, that's supposed to be the best AI model in the world right now. So not only is Apple like, oh my god, Google is dropping Gemini 3, video editing is at its all-time high, coding it is at its all-time high, ChatGPT understanding what you're talking about, things like that. There's so many benchmarks going on right now with different models, and Gemini 3 is apparently on top. So that's good for Apple users, You're getting Google Gemini, right? You're getting it built into your phone. Alexa, Amazon has ChatGPT functionality now. Amazon's not playing. Hold on, hold on. Amazon's not playing with y'all. Hold on, hold on. Amazon is built in. Okay, we have Alexa, right? Alexa, think about it. Alexa has been in people's homes for decades, right? But now it has ChatGPT integration, right? Amazon, Alexa, hold on, Alexa, ChatGPT, right? It is in there, right? So it has the capabilities, of having Alexa, in its type of thing. So that's pretty dope. And people are even replacing Alexa with ChatGPT on their Amazon Echo. So there's possible to do these things and add it as a skill. But they're ChatGPT, Google Gemini, what Samsung is doing also is pushing AI forward on mobile devices, and Apple could not do so. So now Gemini is going on to Apple and replacing Siri. Okay, that's really good. Does it make Apple, does it make iPhone less of a better phone? No. You're just now getting another implementation from Android, right? It's not bad, right? Okay, next. Okay, Apple. Okay, okay. Well, we already read that one. Oops, sorry. All right. Okay, Apple iPhone. You're now able to AirDrop to Android. Okay. All right. So we have Gemini going to Siri. And now we have AirDrop into Android devices, notably Pixel devices, which is Google, which is Android, right? So not only are you getting another feature now, that's pretty dope. I don't know why you would AirDrop to an Android user, but that does widen, the it does widen the community that we have now. So now, we're able to get airdrop things. We have quick share, we have a lot of other airdrop functionalities with Google and Samsung, and other devices here. So just being amongst that is really dope. Being able to airdrop to Android devices is really dope. On top of Siri now becoming Gemini. That's two Android related things that's now going to the iPhone platform. iPhone had a lot of things that happened this year. Their lock screen is now transparent. They have a lot of more functionalities. They can add themes, which they kind of could add, but now, you kind of see it now more than none. There's a lot of cool things that Apple's doing now that, Android already kind of has. By the way, I'm going to make a video on how to turn my Android completely to an iPhone. Someone was talking to me about it earlier, and well, my girl, she's kind of curious about it, and then one of my other friends, he wanted to, me and him was going back and forth on it, and we always talk about tech love, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, so I'm going to make a video on that, so stay tuned. But yeah, so airdrop into Android phones. That's really good. All right, now my mom can airdrop something to me because they never switched to Android. All right, now let's talk about a big thing. iMessage. Okay, we don't have iMessage. Okay, Android does not have iMessage. iOS still has iMessage. That's still primarily on iPhone, which is fine. That's cool. Android has what, over, I don't know, we have thousands of messaging apps. I'm being realistic, okay? I am being so honest with you. If you've never been on, the Android store, and this is for all the iPhone users out here, we have an abundance of messaging apps on Android. It's kind of overwhelming, right? But let's just talk about it. So let's just search up messaging apps, okay? Let's just do that. Okay, we have Google Message, we have Messenger. WhatsApp is nationally known. We have Signal, which some of you techies are using Signal to send my videos around. So y'all legendary. Telegram, Google Chat, they have the text nows and the text pluses. You know what I'm saying? They got Discord, which is widely used now. By the way, they have a stock. Shout out to them, which we talking stock on this channel, so let's go. Textra, SMS, Line, WeChat. This is just amongst the some that you can see. There's way more than this. Trust me. I've seen it. This is just showing you a few on here because we're not fully intact. But you can legit get a whole nother text messaging app on our devices a lot, right? Okay, so iPhone has iMessage. Okay, and I don't really have Messenger and WhatsApp, things like that. But you get what I'm talking about. But yes, so back to RCS. RCS, if you don't know what RCS is, it's rich chat service, which means you're getting the highest quality text messages, okay, between the person. So let's say let's say you had iOS, right? I have Android, and I'm texting you, right? It's a one-on-one conversation. You're able to read my text. I'm able to read your text. You can see what I'm typing. I can see when you're typing. I can see when you left me on red. You can see when I left you on red. Things like that. RCS is now on Android, and it's been on Android for a long time. And Google Messages kind of implemented that. Samsung removed Google Messages. Samsung removed Samsung Messages because it's corny and whack, and they put Google Messages in there. Well, because yet again, just like iPhone, you can't beat them, join them, right? And Google pitched that, and here we go. We still have Samsung Cloud. We're going to get to that. But yes, RCS is fully on Android. So now you really can't say green bubble. You can because it's still green bubble. But you're able to edit the chat. You're able to edit your text message. You're able to see the read receipts. You're able to get high quality messages, videos, and images. So that right there is shot. I had someone say, "Oh, but we're still getting videos, terrible images is blurry, right?" But no, that's not a thing anymore. Okay, if you're texting someone with Android, you're getting high quality video and images now, unless they have a beater phone, which a beater phone is a nut cornball phone that's never been meant to use. So that's what that is. Now, iMessage though, let's talk about it. So Google is dropping a 3.0 universal profile of RCS, and this is new to me. So that means we're gonna get full end-to-end encryption, just like how iPhone has with iMessage to iMessage users. And then Apple is gonna have to, well, they don't have to, but they are going to allow full end-to-end encryption. Same thing with us, and maybe, I'm thinking maybe next year, 2027 or 2026, you're going to see it widely used and be known on Android to iPhone of iMessage. We're not going to have iMessage on Android, but we're going to have the full capabilities of this same thing. And, don't take my word for it. We could definitely do some research. But hey, hear me out here, though. Hear me out. Siri's being replaced. You can AirDrop to Android. RCS is at its highest peak right now, and people are now noticing that you're able to text an Android user without having, without having issues. Now, the only drawback right now is, though, if you're in a group chat, you're not going to have those same features. So group chats are still forbidden. You can still do a group chat, but it's forbidden. It's not that real. It's not good. So, and you're not getting none of the RCS feed. I don't even think the read receipts work, even though I think on mine it works. I've been seeing some read and whatnot in group chats, but I don't know. I think it's a mixture of things. But yeah, I mean, hey, let's talk about it, Texie. This is not a debate. It's not an argument. I'm just looking at the timeline here, and for some reason, a lot of Android features, Google is pushing it. Don't get mad at me. Mad at Google. Google is buying the heck out of iPhone right now. Apple. You know what I'm saying? And if you go on ChatGPT right now, you can look up, is Android devices, doing better, or are they, improving or getting higher in the market, or just, functionality, features, it's like, I don't know. I mean, well, Android's always been kind of like the functionality, party, but it's, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope where you're seeing tech is going. I think Apple is finally caving in, and it seems like it. The App Store is a little bit more open. You're getting a little bit more customization. They're kind of letting their guard down, kind of like how Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Well, Nintendo. No, but Xbox and PlayStation. They're combining games. The console war is almost over. The only war, Nintendo is fighting themselves right now. Nintendo don't care about PlayStation or Xbox. They're on their own league, but I don't think the console war is over. You could play Xbox literally on your Tamagotchi if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really matter what you're playing it on. You can play on your tablet, your phone, your computer. You don't have to own an Xbox. I think the console war is over. Gears of War is on PlayStation. Gears of War was always on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? And now it's on PC. PC is Xbox. So what are we doing? It's a lot of cross compatibilities going. Like, things are becoming seamless now, and times are changing. That's what I told my man. I was like, yo, times is changing, dog. Like, he was saying at first, like, iPhone, you have an iPhone on the table, you have an Android on the table. They do the same thing. I'm like, blasphemy. What are you talking about? The drugs start kicking in, and you start figuring out, like what are they talking about, right? Because, you look at a Z Fold 7, you look at an iPhone, and it's like, you can't knock the functionalities that this device brings. You can't even second screen. You can't even, I mean, let's not even get into the a little bit, but you get what I'm talking about, right? You see what I'm saying? So definitely just keep looking at this roadmap, of Apple and iPhone, like Apple iPhone. Like, you're going to see a lot of interesting changes, just in general. Look at the AI bubble. All this AI stuff is going on. You'll be crazy not to see that Google is buying this way into Apple. Google's not playing about Gemini. Google's not playing about AI. A lot of these companies not playing by. You know how much money they're putting in? $1 billion. They're not just. This is a real thing. Be heavy on the stocks. This stuff is getting crazy. It's getting spooky out here. Like, yo, AI, this stuff is wild. Whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. And these companies are trying to implement it the best way they can. Microsoft is implementing it in your computer. You have a key on your computer that has a Copilot button on, which I made a video changing to ChatGPT, but I digress. I'm just saying, literally, you are AI is being handed to you. At this point, it is a race to see who can get there first. Google has Gemini in his hands. Apple had Nathan. Now they have Gemini. Siri's being upgraded, and they're open to go into other capabilities and functionalities going into this next tech generation. They're building the iPhone Fold. Hmm. Hmm. So the thing with that is though, they're building a fold. And Samsung's been doing it, Huawei's been doing it, Google's been doing it, Google's been doing it. Let's talk about iCloud. Wait, what? You said OneDrive? Hold up, OneDrive is Microsoft. Google, what does Google have? Google Cloud? Is it cloud? Okay, so are we thinking that the cloud, the cloud on Google is going to come to iOS? Do you think it's going to get replaced by iCloud? Do you think iCloud features are being removed? I guess we'll see. I'm gonna make another video. I haven't made a video like this in a long time, so definitely, check out my videos. Please like and subscribe. You already know what it is, yo. But like, this is an interesting road. I can't wait to see where Apple iPhone takes this stuff. I'm definitely looking at it. I don't have any. Well, I don't know if I have any Apple products per se, but I would definitely buy a stock. Like, I would buy a stock. I would definitely buy a stock. Apple's here to stay, of course. Yeah, I would definitely buy in. I would tap in, see what's going on. 2026 is beyond its horizon. Remember, GTA 6 comes out in 2026. So anything's possible. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's have some comments. Let's have some conversation in the comments. Definitely let me know what y'all think. And am I talking crazy, or do you see what's going on too? I'll see y'all. Peace.